Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Capstone Community Action Board of Directors annual meeting. This is a special night that we always really look forward to because it gives us the opportunity to not only talk about the things that we have accomplished, but to really share personal stories and allow you all, to our guests, to really join us in a celebration of the things that we're so proud of and the people that we're proud of. This has been another really challenging year. I don't need to tell any of you that. It has been very difficult at a lot of levels. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this meeting the way we're having it tonight. But we're here, we're together, and we're having a wonderful conversation. We're going to have a wonderful conversation about Capstone and all that it's doing for the community. I want to talk just briefly about the work that has gone into this last year. The remote working, the working from the office, the masking, all of it has been such a challenge for folks. And yet everybody at Capstone has been rising above and doing amazing work. And you're going to get just a little taste through the spotlights that we do tonight of just how meaningful that work is and how impactful. But on behalf of the board of directors, I want to thank the entire staff of Capstone, every person in the agency, for all that you have done for this last year, over this last year, because it has been remarkable work, and it has been hard work. And the community appreciates it greatly. We hear from folks all the time and know that everything that you are doing really matters and really is making a difference. It is so amazing that you were able to do the work that you do with the grace and the dignity and kind of the thoughtfulness of such an important mission. So thank you on behalf of the board. I would like to take a quick moment to introduce the board. You're not going to be able to see them, but I'm going to rattle off their names. And I just realized I didn't actually introduce myself. I'm Steve PAPPAS. I'm the chair of the board of directors. My vice chair is Karen Lowry-Reed. Our treasurer is Hope Crefo. Our secretary is Ronnie Lynn Shrout. Our past chair is Ruben Bennett. And our board members are Barry Gladstone, Janet Jansen Murray, John Belson Giacomo, Donna SHERLAW, Jay Hooper, Abby White, Barbara Miller, Jessica Painter, Monica McDonald, Jack Teig, and Scott McDonald. I don't think I missed anybody there, but we are all so glad that you could be here this evening. And we want to jump right in because we have a lot of things that we want to cover with you all. And with that, it is my privilege to introduce Capstone's Executive Director, Sue Minter.
I'm thrilled to be the Executive Director of this amazing organization. And all I'm going to do is really tell you who we are. We are an organization, a nonprofit organization that has been started since 1965. We're in central Vermont, serving the Washington, Lamoille, and Orange counties with a mission to break the cycle of poverty. We do that in a variety of ways that you'll hear about tonight. But we are, as an organization, really dedicated to improving the lives of Vermonters in need by providing opportunities, education, and vital assistance. We are part of a network of community action agencies here in Vermont, a network of 5, and across the country, a network of over 1,000, all of whom work together with that united mission, and have been doing so since the war on poverty began. I would say that our mission and the work that we have been doing during this pandemic and through this ongoing pandemic economy has never been more critical. We focus on 4 key strategies: making ends meet through crisis services, building stronger families through early education and a whole family approach to breaking the cycle of poverty. We create warm and healthy homes and advance our climate justice mission. And we open doors of economic opportunity through financial empowerment programs. You're going to hear about each of these strategies by the directors of each program, beginning first with Dawn Butterfield, Director of the Family and Community Support Services. She'll be followed by CHRISTIE SWENSON, our Director of our HEADSTART program. Next will be Paul ZABRISKIE, Director of Weatherization and Climate Impact. And last will be Liz Scharf, our Director of Community Economic Development and Food Security. Enjoy this presentation. Go ahead, Dawn.
I'm so happy to be here tonight and share some of the good work that we're doing here at Capstone. You're going to be able to hear a whole lot tonight about all of the things that we do. But I like to say that if Capstone was a building, then Family Community Support Services would be the foundation of that building. It's our mission in this department to stabilize people's lives, to help them stay housed, to help them be warm, and to get all of the other things they need so they can stabilize and focus all of their attentions going forward to getting out of poverty. So one of the things that we do that's pretty big is housing. And over the last year, we've helped several hundred people to either stay in their housing by helping them maybe get some money for back rent, or helping them learn how to work with landlords, or teaching about renters' rights and responsibilities. We have visited the people who are in the hotels, who are housed there as a result of the pandemic, and certainly waiting to be able to find their forever home and their permanent home. We also work with fuel and energy to help keep people warm and their houses snug. And we work with furnaces to try to help people fix those. And we work with weatherization on that project. And then we do outreach services, which is everything else. With housing, some of the challenges that we've seen over the last year, not even beginning to talk about the pandemic challenges, but are the serious lack of unit people in our various communities. We have extremely low vacancy rates, and we have a very high cost of living in Vermont. And in addition, often the folks that we are working with have a lot of challenges, whether they're in recovery from substance use, or maybe they have a past rental history that's not so great and they need some work on credit repair, or any variety of reasons. We walk with them on that journey to address those kinds of things and help them get into permanent housing. And I am pleased to say that we were able to work through 123 cases of people actually finding housing in a place where there isn't any. With fuel and energy, we not only do crisis fuel every day, 5 days a week, but also in the evening for emergencies. And we've helped last year well over 300 some odd households, in non-duplicated households. And we're on that way this year to doing the same kind of thing. We're glad that there is lots of funding this year available because of pandemic recovery funds. And we spend a lot of time helping folks access those. It's a wonderful opportunity for people living with low incomes in our community. I only have a few minutes, so I'd like to tell you about, just to give you a taste of some of the work that we do. My staff told me about a case where a single person had been placed in a hotel. She was suffering from some substance use and mental health issues and was not able to stay in the hotel. She also, because of that, was not allowed to act. But during that entire time, she stayed with her worker at Capstone, and they worked together to get her out of a tent and to appeal her situation and get her back into a hotel where she can be close to her friends and family and close to the worker that had been helping her. And they are now working on a plan to get her into some permanent housing. It's a lot of hard work. It's not always happy and it's not always successful. But again, it's such rewarding work. And I'll just tell you a last little story about a fuel recipient who was talking with Sue Rossi, our fuel coordinator. And Sue said, oh my goodness, after she heard the person's story, she said, how do you just get through the day? And there was a pause on the phone and the woman said, well, you and God and pills, Sue, you and God and pills. And there is a taste of what FCSS does. And thank you for the opportunity to share that with you.
Hi, I'm Christy, and I am going to speak to you a little bit today about Head Start. I'll talk to you about our 2021 year because we run like a school year. So this is August 2020 through July 2021. And so I'll tell you a little bit about our mission and why Head Start is here. We are really here to help young children who are at risk to catch up as much as possible by the time they start kindergarten. You may have heard about the gap, they call it, between children that are raised in high-income, enriched homes versus children that have some kind of challenge in their home life. So the outcomes from Head Start are fantastic. Children who are enrolled in Head Start are more likely to graduate high school than their peers. They're more likely to start post-secondary education than their peers, and they're less likely to be incarcerated as adults than their peers. So who we served in the 2020 to 21 school year was pretty diverse, obviously, across the 3 counties, but 82% of the children that we served had at least one ACE. An ACE is an adverse childhood experience, and it's a way to measure the trauma that children have experienced in their first 18 years. So it is, there's an ACE for being in a home with domestic violence. It could be an ACE if you have an incarcerated parent. So things like that are what we count as an ACE. 61% of the children we served had at least one caregiver with a diagnosed mental health condition. 35% of the children we served had a caregiver with a diagnosed substance use disorder, and 31% were homeless at some point during the year. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the service that we provide for these families. What really makes us different from a standard childcare is that we provide service for the whole family. It's not just the child. So we provide social work for the family where the family sets out goals and their social worker helps them achieve those goals, which can be anything from wanting to increase their education, to wanting to buy a car, to trying to find stable housing. Those are some of the frequent things that families are working on. We also help them to make sure the child is fully immunized, is up to date on their well child visits, has seen a dentist, if they're of age, and all those other wraparounds that the family may need, and also assist them as emergencies come up. So the way that we provide that service is that we have 2 of our own child cares that we run, early childhood education centers. There's one in Barrie and one in Morrisville, and we run those, as a child care. We also will come to them. We do home-based services with weekly home visits to work on these skills. And we have collaboration classrooms that are in elementary schools where there's a Head Start classroom within an elementary school. The last thing that we do is we partner with private childcare providers. So in doing that, we work with child cares that are existing, and we provide them with training for their staff, with coaching and mentoring for their staff, as well as increased payments to help them have all of the materials that they need in order to provide the highest quality of service to the children enrolled there. And we provide home visits for Head Start enrolled families and those private childcare providers. So I guess that I would like to just end with a quick story about someone that we have served through Head Start. She came to us when her child was very young, and she was able to enroll with Head Start, and she achieved her high school diploma by working in our teen parent ed class, which is upstairs from where her child was enrolled, so she could be in the same building with her child. She now is working on her college degree, and we have her little guy is in preschool now. He's getting older. She's working on her college degree, and she's able to do that because we're providing him with care during the day. And she also was assisted by her social worker to get her driver's license quite recently, and they were Good News Garage was able to get her a car. So she has made leaps and bounds in the couple of years that we have known her and worked with her. And I think we're all really proud of her and glad that we can provide that assistance.
Well, thank you very much. I'm sorry I'm not able to see you all. The weatherization group, Weatherization and Climate Impact, has had an enormous year. We've weatherized homes in the low-income program, as well as a fee-for-service program with Energy Smart of Vermont. Our 3E Thermal Division, which is a group that provides engineering services for multifamily buildings statewide. That's a social enterprise that has expanded its scope and reach in recent years. And the Office of Economic Opportunity asked us to provide similar services through the weatherization program. So we now sort of operate 2 weatherization programs within Capstone, as well as we support the emergency heating system repair and replacement program that Dawn touched on, where we're providing technical services in homes. Beyond the buildings side of what we do, which is a significant portion of our activity, is we're a construction company. We also have been working in the transportation space, recognizing that transportation is a primary barrier to moving families out of poverty. Several years ago, we created the Mileage Smart program. It launched last November, delivered over 100 cars in its first year, and it's really hitting its stride. That program provides incentives for income qualified households to purchase high efficiency, high miles per gallon cars, up to $5,000 or 25% of the vehicle. We're also working with VTrans and Green Mountain Transit on a project we call New Mobility and Equity, and that is to provide a ride-hailing service within the capital region and expanding in the future. And that's really on-demand rides. If you are familiar with Uber or Lyft, it's a similar service, but subsidized and targeting the needs of the community that is challenged with mobility, trying to help people get to work, to get to their medical appointments, to get to childcare, and do the things that we all need to do, but without a car. Finally, this year in particular saw Sue Minter join the Climate Council. Many folks have probably seen a lot of news about that in the last month. And we provided staff support for Sue and some technical support to try and make sure that the voice of low-income and marginalized Vermonters is part of the conversation, part of the planning as the Global Warming Solutions Act Climate Action Plan was formulated and was published earlier this month. That piece of our work for me is really fulfilling because it has long been a goal to recognize that the weatherization services that we provide not only provide tremendous savings for households and just make a difference in the household, but they also reduce carbon emissions. They also are part of climate solutions that are critical, that Vermont has to do its part. It can't solve this problem, but this problem can't be solved if we don't do our part. So I'm particularly proud of the work our group has done supporting Sue and really broadening the scope of community action to being a participant and an active player in the climate council and in the climate conversation in Vermont. I guess a short story, Mileage Smart has really come into its own in the last months, and we're just getting testimonial after testimonial of families that have been struggling with cars that can't pass inspections, cars that are just broken down all the time. And we had a particular family up in St. Albans where we were able to get them into, I believe it was a 2017 Chevrolet Volt, which is a plug-in hybrid vehicle, reduce the miles per gallon that you were getting. They were operating in a truck that was getting 17 miles to the gallon, and they improved that to 47 miles per gallon. And we calculated that it was saving this family over $400 a year. Hundreds of stories like that. It's really fascinating to see, and really looking forward as more and more electric vehicles come on the market, that we move the portion of vehicles moved through Mileage Smart from 25% roughly electric vehicles now to the majority of those vehicles. So I could go on for a while, but I think I best stop there. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending tonight's board meeting. My name is Liz Scharf, and I'm the Director of Community Economic Development and Food Security here at Capstone. So I'm pleased to spend the next few minutes explaining the 9 different programs that I have in my department. And what I really want to do is acknowledge the hardworking staff behind the scenes who make all of these programs happen. So first off is our child care food program. This is a federal program which provides cash reimbursement to in-home daycare providers who serve healthy snacks and meals. It's managed by Pat Sergi and assisted by Rachel Bliss, who work with more than 120 providers as far south as White River Junction, all the way up to the Derby line. And they help reimburse more than $700,000 back to providers each year. Our Community Kitchen Academy is taught by senior chef instructor Joey Buttendorf and her intern assistant Paul Falco, who is a former CKA student. The program will graduate its 25th class of 5 students tomorrow. And these past 7 weeks, they have been instrumental in providing meals during the Thanksgiving holiday and meals for our Capstone food shelf. We are in pursuit of new students for this upcoming year. So if you know of anyone who would like to learn valuable cooking skills while building skills in teamwork and workforce development, please send them our way. And our food shelf is expertly managed by Tina Silva and assisted by Rachel Bliss, who have been busy giving out food during this holiday season. And Tina's been instrumental in working on a new online order system called PantrySoft. And this new system will allow our patrons who visit the shelf to pre-order foods and schedule pickup times, which allows for a more dignified experience. And speaking of food, we have Eloise Reed, who oversees our CSBG CARES funded food security programming. She's working on the Everyone Eats project, which we will hear about shortly. And she continues to oversee our COVID initiative mobile food delivery project to families and staff at the Orange County Parent-Child Center in Tunbridge and a new location in Rochester, Vermont. And our savings and credit program is growing. We hired Rosie Manning this summer to provide one-on-one financial coaching services to Central Vermonters and families on Reach Up. Longtime Capstone employee Mary Johnson in Morrisville provides financial coaching services and business counseling to residents in Lamoille County. And Maureen Doherty continues to manage the Vermont Match Savings Program for Capstone and for the statewide CAP agencies. And our newest member of the CED team is Kelsey Gibb. She's a recent MBA graduate from UVM's Grossman School of Business Sustainability Impact Program. Kelsey is the statewide team lead for Capstone's newest initiative, the Financial and Energy Coaching Program, which will offer low and moderate income Vermonters one-on-one financial counseling with an emphasis on ways to reduce their reliance on gas and oil for home heating and transportation and utilities. And we're excited to announce we just hired our first coach today for the program, Lorianne Kuzar, who will begin the first week in January as Capstone's new financial and energy coaching specialist. We've also got Margaret Ferguson, business coach for Capstone's micro business development program, and she's been busy helping new businesses get off the ground and existing businesses adapt to the new business world in a never-ending pandemic. She is currently assisting small businesses with her application to our third round of $5,000 Embrace grants, which will total $2 million additional dollars statewide for our most disadvantaged micro business owners. Last but not least is our volunteer income tax assistance program, which is led by superstar Laura Sudhoff, the 2021 recipient of the State of Vermont Office of Economic Opportunity Unsung Hero Award. Laura is currently working with part-time site coordinators Brenda in Barrie, Mary in Randolph, and Lois in Morrisville to get 25 plus volunteers ready to prepare and file taxes in the upcoming tax season. Finally, I just wanted to share a few very short stories of impact that we have. So we have one of our clients who is working with Rosie, our financial coach. And these are the words of Rosie about Amanda. Amanda is not her real name. Rosie says, Amanda is my shining star student this month. For the first time in her life, she is caught up on all of her bills. Amanda has reduced her debt significantly since we started working together, and she's been using an envelope system to keep track of her spending. This week's powerful question to Amanda was, how do you feel now that you have a better handle on your finances? And she said, I feel really good. I'm not overwhelmed and know I can pay all of my bills on time. She does have some challenges. However, she's overcoming them, and I really enjoy working with her. Oh, and she's very close to completing her high school diploma at age 37. I'm so incredibly proud of this woman. And one more quick testimony about the work of our financial coach, Mary Johnson, from a woman named Michelle, who's a single mom fleeing a domestic violence situation and learning to live financially on her own. Michelle says, quote, working with Mary Johnson at Capstone Community Action in Morrisville has positively improved many aspects of my life. Mary is my money and Vermont Match savings coach, and we have been meeting on a bi-weekly basis for a little under a year. She has and is still currently helping me build a great foundation with understanding, improving, and building my finances. She's always in good spirits and explains things in ways I understand. I appreciate and look forward to my meetings and time spent with Mary. She is a major contributor to my future endeavors and success. Much gratitude from me to her, end quote. Finally, the CED and food security team would like to thank the board for its recent gift of those lovely handmade, unique Thanksgiving cards that we all received, and to thank you for your service to the Capstone Board of Directors. Thanks.
Well, I hope that you got the same sense that I have every day working with these tremendous leaders doing remarkable things. And I appreciate Liz for recognizing her staff. And I want to just give a shout out to all of my team. Believe it or not, 182 people make up the workforce of this incredible organization doing all of these incredible programs. But what we depend on isn't only an amazing staff and terrific leaders, it's our partners. And what's exciting about Capstone and really the community action movement, because this isn't an organization, it's not a mission, it's a movement to end poverty. across this country. And here in Vermont, we are really focused on innovation. And I think this pandemic has really shown what we are made of. We're going to feature now one of the most exciting and kind of dynamic pandemic programs that we've been a part of. And it is a statewide program, the Vermont Everyone Eats program. And I want to just start by explaining that this really came from the legislature. Now, I want to thank the legislators who are here tonight. I saw a list. I saw Senator Rich Westman, who in particular has been a huge supporter of both our Mileage Smart and our brand new pilot financial and energy coaching program. But we also have Dan Noyes, Representative Dan Noyes, Kim Jessup. Dan helps us on Human Services, Kimberly on the Appropriations Committee, hugely there. Peter Anthony, our Barrie rep, working tirelessly on so many issues. Thank you all for joining us and for the work you do on behalf of Capstone and our participants. Turning to a particular program and a particular partner, I'm here to introduce Jean Hamilton, who is going to be our keynote speaker. She's going to give a little story about what we've been doing together across this state. But also we're going to have a little video that I think will really present more about the impact that we've had as Capstone is the Central Vermont hub of the Vermont Everyone Eats program. Jean is the statewide coordinator for Everyone Eats, but is also an employee and leader really within Skinny Pancake, the restaurant I'm sure you've all been to, which repurposed itself early in the pandemic to create a nonprofit entity called Shift Meals. Jean has spent the last 20 years in Vermont working to build strong communities, primarily through the lens of food-based businesses and organizations, such as NOFA Vermont, Black River Produce, and her own consulting business. Jean tells me that she's a proud member of the Capstone community, living in Plainfield. Welcome to our annual meeting. Lovely to have you with us, Jean Hamilton. I met her first running around the State House trying to get $5 million to make this program happen. And let's just hear what she managed to do. Thank you, Jean.
Thanks so much, Sue. It's such an honor to be with you all today. And I'll just say, I've got a couple of kiddos running around in the background, so hopefully they won't be too noisy. But if you hear squawking and laughter, that's what's going on. It sort of feels insufficient to say what an honor it is. All of you directors who just presented, I am just so proud, profoundly grateful for the work you do, and really moved to hear those stories. So thanks for giving us that chance to learn more and hear more about your work. If we were all in the room together, I'd pump us up by saying, who's excited about Everyone Eats, which I bet a bunch of you are, and probably it's awkward for us to rally independently behind our dark cameras, but hopefully you are really excited about this program, as I know many of the people that are in this meeting today have directly participated in one way or another. I've been really fortunate to be participating since throughout the program, and would love to just share a little bit of the story of Everyone Eats from my perspective. For me, it started in March of last year, in March of 2020, when all of our worlds got turned right upside down. At that time, I was consulting, and overnight, all of my contracts evaporated. And fortunately, I was invited by the Skinny Pancake to help develop this program, this COVID response program called Shift Meals. And the origin of Shift Meals was really a immediate response to two simultaneous crises that happened literally overnight to the Skinny Pancake organization. The first was across our 7 restaurant locations, all of them in Vermont. We had to lay off 250 workers, putting them all into immediate economic uncertainty. And then secondly, we shuttered our businesses, halting all of our revenue and also leaving tons of food to rot in refrigerators and freezers with no known plan for reopening. And so the idea that the Skinny Pancake leadership team had at that time was to find some funding and some mechanism to support putting our kitchens back to work, to also feed this just explosion of people that were now facing food uncertainty and food insecurity. And, we didn't really know what it would be like, but what we found as we started to make meals is that it just made so much sense, and it was useful and hopeful. And after 3 months of exploring this idea and building the project, we were at the point where we were making and distributing about 7,000 meals a week. And we just knew that this concept could work at a much larger scale with many, many more participating restaurants. And sort of at that time, the statewide mass feeding task force, which our dear Sue really helped to spearhead, was gaining interest in piloting a restaurant meals program in the southern part of the state in Brattleboro. And also there were a handful of other related sort of grassroots community scale projects that were springing up around the state and testing the model in different communities. And so with this kind of coalition and the power of our group, we came together and presented a proposal. We were invited by House Commerce Committee to present a proposal. And that committee, was subsequently led the way in organizing other lawmakers to authorize $5 million of the CARES Act money, the COVID relief money, to launch a statewide program, which we now lovingly know of as Everyone Eats, Vermont Everyone Eats. So that was July of 2020. It's funny, like between March and July, we moved mountains. And then between July and August, just 1 month later, Capstone was partnered with Shift Meals, and we were operating an Everyone Eats hub in central Vermont for Lamoille, Washington, and Orange counties. And 10 months later, today, we're at the point where we distribute about 250,000 meals. And that's in direct partnership with so many of you here today. Across the state, we are just about to hit our 2 million meal mark. That's across 14 community hubs that have provided meals from nearly 260 restaurants all around the state. So restaurants, distribution partners, meal recipients, farmers, volunteers, legislators, all of you, we could not have achieved all of this without the critical roles that all of you have played. There are so many stories that I have collected over this last 2 years, and so many more stories that I'd love to tell and that I hope you're telling each other and celebrating, and also so many lessons that we've learned and are currently learning. And, just a couple that I'd love to highlight for you about, how has Everyone Eats come to be and why is it so wonderful? First, I would say that something that has become really clear to me is that our community, Vermont, was really unusually prepared to create this program and benefit from it because of the investments that we've made into our communities prior to COVID. So the investments we've made into strong community infrastructure, into resilient and strong local supply chains, and also into the ability to work collaboratively. These are investments we've been making for decades through organizations like Capstone. And, these are the investments and the foundation with which, within 2 months of receiving, of the bill being signed into law that gave us the $5 million, we had 14 hubs up and running all around the state, delivering tens of thousands of meals each week from hundreds of restaurants. These hubs are made up of organizations like Capstone that were able to leap right into this project, with the back end support, the admin support, the finance offices, the project management skills. And even though it took a lot of energy and courage to take a leap into this program, we had the organizations that had the skills to do it. So thank you for everyone who has been helping to build Capstone and all the other community organizations that we've really relied on to manifest this program. Another lesson that has really become clear to me has come very much from working with Sue on this program, and I've gotten to hear her say a number of times, the sort of to reflect on Tropical Storm Irene and the lasting impact it's had on our communities, the lessons we learned from managing that crisis, and and basically like how we were able to, through the challenge of that disruption, build new networks and build new skills, and that those have benefited us today. I see that this crisis likewise has created new opportunities for us. They are myriad, and I hope over this whole next year, we'll continue to share those and really figure out a way to capture them. But what's been really interesting and inspiring to watch, particularly with Capstone, is how this organization has not only used Vermont Everyone Eats as a tool to directly respond to the emergent needs during COVID, but also to really use it as a tool to invest in and build up strategic efforts that are bigger than just this crisis. So some things that come to mind right now are efforts to address transportation issues and to really innovate and develop new ways to bring accessible services to our most rural communities, ways to uplift economic development, especially for low-income entrepreneurs, as a way to address systemic poverty, and also as a way to just continue to further strengthen the web of organizations and individuals across our community who really are the heroes that care for and nurture us. So in COVID, this opportunity that lies in the disruption. And finally, because we're here today at this beautiful Capstone event, something that has really become even more clear to me working on this program is that Capstone is an amazing organization. It's an organization that just is full of healing and compassion, and is a powerful force in our communities to advocate for strength and empathy. And it has been so rewarding to work with all of the Capstone team members, staff, and contractors who I've had a chance to work with, and just really a special privilege to work with Sue. I'm sure many of you love Sue, and I just want to say, Sue, I think we are also lucky to have you as a leader in our community. So thank you so much. And with that, I just, from the deepest parts of my heart, thank you all of you for what you've done to keep us all together and moving forward and healthy and thriving as much as we can be through this challenging time. So thank you so much. And because Everyone Eats was created as a program that was really intentionally building community resilience around reciprocity and exchange and collaboration, the impact of Everyone Eats has been community-wide. So in central Vermont, in the hub that Capstone helps to manage, since last August, when the program got started up through 2021, we will distribute over 250,000 meals from about 15 different restaurants in the Capstone territory. Those meals translate into $2.5 million worth of revenue for restaurants, many of whom were shut down for most of that time.
it really is incredible to see so many dedicated people to wanting to help people in the community. This program started as like, here are these meals and here's the pickup time, and it, for me personally, it evolved into, wow, a lot of our patients in the community are not able to have transportation even to come and get this free food. I began delivering food and meals to community members that couldn't afford transportation or were elderly and couldn't drive. I mean, I guess I could speak to just how incredibly grateful most everyone in this program has been to receive these meals, and it's just taken the edge off for a lot of people, and for some people it's saved them, you know, for some it's helped and supplemented, and for others it's really fed them and kept them alive.
And so it's just been so exciting for everybody involved in this project to stop having to choose, do I work on hunger relief or do I work on economic development and business issues, and really see that when we tie together strong local businesses with vulnerable community members, we're actually looking at problems from a systems level and coming up with system solutions. There are a number of real gems that I hope we'll take forward with us from what we've learned from Everyone Eats. And, you know, I think first and foremost, this collaborative approach to addressing critical problems in our communities like hunger, you know, just what we've learned about what we can do when we work together across sectors and bridge those silos. We just come up with better solutions that work for more parties and work for more stakeholders in our community. So I'm really hopeful that that's a lesson, certainly that Everyone Eats has taught us, but I think a lot of COVID has taught us is that we're stronger when we work together.
Good afternoon, my name is Rich McSheffrey. I'm the owner of Cornerstone Restaurant Group here in Central Vermont. I've been a part of the Everyone Eats program since day one. When COVID hit, we had to think long and hard of how we were going to get through this. So Everyone Eats came along asking if we would make meals each week that were going to go out to people with food insecurities. It was a no-brainer for us. I'm on my 55th week, I think, of Everyone Eats. I do all of the meals essentially with very little help. The reason for doing that was able to take the extra funds and be able to deal with raises and keeping my staff in tow. It was just kind of like going to the gym for me. It was, you get into a routine. I was making sometimes 1,000 meals a week, sometimes 500, but probably on the average 400 to 500 a week. It's a lot of hard work, but at the same time, you're able to give something back. I've built relationships with some awesome farmers and local peoples. Being around in business in the community for so long, I was a little apprehensive at first, I think, about getting involved into a state-funded program. I think maybe just history had me feel like some of these things don't always work, but this one in particular really, really worked for all parties involved. It gave us an awesome opportunity to meet neighbors, work with farmers, understand what they're going through, feeding hundreds and hundreds of people at the same time, as well as putting some income in our pocket that have really, genuinely, in my case, has helped keep me afloat. The people behind this have really done a nice job with the infrastructure of it. I'm very proud of the work that's done in this program. It's flawless in its routine. Each one of these containers, my company name goes on, and I take that very seriously. And it's just given us an opportunity to give back to the community when we haven't had the actual money to give back to the community like we have in the past.
This program has just grown exponentially, and it's amazing to see where it started and how far it's come. And my thought is we can really do anything if we set our mind to it.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that video, and thank you, Jean, for a wonderful speech. I know it's 2 minutes before 7, and we want to ask of 5 more minutes of your time just to round out our evening with our special awards that we give annually. I want to just make sure to shout out for the special team at Capstone running the Everyone Eats program. It was initiated by Jessica Edgerly Walsh, who has been helping out in a number of ways. It's really been run by Casey Engels, who is helping us run this event tonight. And a big shout out to Eloise Reed, who is our pandemic security, food security coordinator, doing all kinds of innovative new ways to reach people in need. And now I just want to turn to our awards tonight, to start with a partnership award. I think you could see in that video that it all depends on the partners. And honestly, this program and other pandemic programs have brought us together with great partners. So without further ado, it's pretty obvious that the partners that make up the Everyone Eats program are our partners of the year. And we do want to ask Jean to essentially receive this Partner of the Year award on behalf of the 49 different partners who have stood up and joined with us. So Jean, as Shift Meals, as the director of this wonderful program and champion, we want you to receive this on behalf of our Hub partners. But thanks to every single Hub partner, and you heard all 49 of those. Thank you for being such a leader in our community. And now I'm going to turn it to Tina Silva from our food shelf.
I'd like to take a moment to thank a very special person that has been a part of the food shelf since the beginning of the pandemic. Anytime he's not at work, he's there helping. He goes above and beyond. He also takes care of his whole neighborhood and makes sure that all the elderly people in his neighborhood eat. He's phenomenal when he's on a break from his regular job. He's sometimes with us 3 days a week and has been a phenomenal backbone to the food shelf at Capstone. Mr. Adrian Westrope has been a part of our organization for quite some time, and I'd like to give special thanks and present him with the Volunteer of the Year award. So thank you, Adrian, for everything that you have done for us, that you do for your community. You are a great asset to our company, and our doors are always open to you. And I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. You know that.
Thank you very much. And we will get together. Thank
We
you,
will.
Adrian.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to go right into I wrote it down and I'm just going to read it out loud, okay? So for many years since moving to the Vermont in 2008, our recipient has been outreaching to others and putting their needs ahead of hers. She has offered people who had no place to go a space in her own place while making sure they knew about Capstone and its housing program. Every time she sees a child under 5 and gushes on how cute they are, she asks if they're connected with Head Start and that they have diapers and other personal needs. If not, she would drive them to Capstone or for the essential closet and the Head Start referral. Our recipient understands the needs of most vulnerable population. She is a voice at our local mental health children's standing committee, speaking up for children with mental health needs. She also speaks up for the elderly people and others such as the veterans. As examples, recently she spoke up in helping a elderly family to get services as well as equipment to be more mobile. And then she's spoken up about how expensive rents are and how people with fixed incomes cannot afford them. So years ago, she also started her own 501c3. Through this and with help from others, such as her granddaughter, each summer she has been providing backpacks with school supplies for children in need. COVID hit, but that did not stop her. She continues to be helping others, especially our people experiencing homelessness. Not a day goes by that she is not bringing them food from Everyone Eats or Breakfast on Us, getting clothing, sleeping bags, and driving them to community resources. She is also a voice for diversity and equity and shares her story with others to help them to understand. Many years of lived experience, both tragic and blessed, and much moving around the states has helped her to create her into who she is. As a strong woman of faith who loves her Lord and Savior, she sits at the local pastor's meeting. Yet she is more She's more content to be on the streets, ministering to all, listening to them, determining needs, and looking under every rock to help them to meet their basic and spiritual needs. So finally, when I think of this year's recipient and the example she leads, I think of Matthew chapter 25, 35 through 36, which states, "For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you took me in. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me." So I am pleased to announce this year's recipient of the J. Isaacson Leadership Award is my colleague and friend, Miss Reverend Barbara Miller.
What did you just say? Oh my Lord. Oh my goodness.
Yes, Barbara, you are a winner and a leader.
Oh my goodness. This is such a surprise. Oh my goodness.
On, Mom.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Grandma. Congratulations, Mom.
Good job, Grandma.
Wait a minute.
Congratulations, Mom.
How do you get my children on there? Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. I was not expecting this, Donna. You kept the surprise, really kept it. Thank you all so much. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Barbara.
Oh, I love everyone. Love you, my children and grandchildren. Donna, oh my gosh. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
We're
Thank
so
you.
happy that you and everybody else can celebrate in this moment. I just want to bring Donna back for a second, if you don't mind. Donna's served on the board since 2013 and is our Morrisville area designee to the board. And for the whole time I've been on the board, Donna has done an amazing job of keeping us on task. She is, let me just say that what she just did is totally out of her comfort zone. And she did an amazing job, and I asked her to do it, and she rose to the occasion as any leader would. And I just want to say that I've never met anybody as hardworking as Donna, who is as much of an advocate for Capstone, for being an ambassador to Capstone, and for being as detail-oriented. She may be the only person who reads the packet cover to cover every time we get it in the mail. And so, as much as Donna likes process and transparency and wanting to know everything that's going on with Capstone, we have a little surprise for her that we didn't include you in the notion that you are the second recipient of the J. Isaacson Leadership Award, and that your work over the years at Capstone has not only brought that center up there and kind of reconstituted Capstone in that community, but you have made all of us better board members. So Donna, thank you so much, and congratulations on being the other J. Isaacson Leadership Award recipient this year.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's all about being a team, Steve. It's all about the team.
Absolutely. And you are a key part of it. So thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
everyone, we have run over, so I want to thank you all for being a part of our special evening and hearing all these amazing stories and meeting all these amazing people. And with that, I'm going to close the meeting by wishing you all happy health and stay well and have a wonderful holiday season. And and keep up the good work, because we're all in this together. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Congratulations to all the award winners. You can turn on your...
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. I want to thank Bob, the green guy. He has put this together for us. Special thanks to him as well. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Woo-hoo.
Thank you, everyone.